So the first one is asking me to solve for I, which I know is current, and that's in amps. V stands for volts, and the R one, or the one with the omega, I know is ohms, and that's resistance, right? So my formula is V equals IR. In this case, I want to solve for I. So I know I'm going to divide both sides by R. That gets me I all by itself. So I is equal to the voltage divided by the resistance. And so I plug in, and the voltage we have there is 5 volts. The resistance we have there is 750 ohms. And the answer will be 5 divided by 750. Which is 0.006 repeating. 0.006 repeating amps. Right? Now, I have one significant digit, 5 volts. So my answer should have one digit. So I would look at the next thing, and it would be a 6 as well, and I'd round that up. And I can either call this 0.007 amps, or I can call it 7 milliamps as my answer. Okay? Number 2 says, solve for the resistance. They gave me A for amps, and that is my current, which I use the letter I for. Over here I have 15, which is my volts, or my voltage. And R, they're asking me to solve for the omega, the ohms, right? Omega. So V equals IR. Solving for R, I divide both sides by I. And I get that R is equal to V divided by I. So R equals V over I, which is 15 volts divided by 0.025 amps. 15 divided by 0.025 gives me 600. And that would be ohms. Now they have 2 sig figs, so I could put 6.0 and call that centa-ohms, I guess. Is that, no, hecta? Please, well, let me remember here. King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So the base unit times 10 is deca, so it'd be 6d, or times h is hecta. So I'd put a big H and then a omega, hecta ohms would be my answer there. But you guys can just leave it as 600 ohms. I'm fine with that, okay? Last one says to solve for V, which is volts, and the nice thing is V equals IR. I just need to identify what's my R, and omega is for ohms, which is resistance. So that's my R. I is for current, which is in amps. So I times R is 4 amps times 3 ohms is going to be equal to V. And that is 12. So my answer is 12 volts. But I only have one sig fig for both of these. So what would this actually be? It'd be 10 volts in sig figs. If you wrote 12 volts, that's okay, but really, or 10 volts in sig figs. Okay?